If I can have your attention, please, it's 5:30. If you give your attention to the emergency evacuation procedures, please.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
At this time, if the members would register your presence by voting yes. Madam Clerk.
We have 14 present, 7 absent.
14 present, 7 absent. We have a quorum. At this time, this commission did publish on May 23, 2016 in the newspaper of general circulation of Blount County, Tennessee, a notice of a public hearing to be held at this date, at this location, at this hour. This public hearing is now convened and is open to hear all oral testimony and comment on a resolution to amend the zoning map of Blount County, Tennessee. The proposed resolution number 1606002 would amend the zoning map of Blount County, Tennessee from R1, Rural District 1 to C, Commercial. For the property located at the corner of Sevierville Road and Brookmead Avenue, the property is identified on tax map 038, parcel 070.06. Does anyone wish to address the commission? You'll come forward, sir, introduce yourself.
My name is Chester Franklin. I'm the owner of the property that I'm asking to get rezoned to commercial. I want to give you just a little bit of the history of the property. The city of Maryville built a holding pond up above the water filtration plant, and I don't know if the property was commercial when they did that or not. Probably was. But they put the property up for bid, and I turned the bid in on it, and I guess evidently I was low bidder or high bidder, and I don't know, in a week after I turned my bid in, they called me and wanted a meeting. So I go to the city of Maryville, and I met with some of the executives there, and they asked me what I was going to do with that piece of property. And I told them that I was going to have the sinkholes in it repaired correctly, and I was going to regrade it, and I was going to park excess equipment on the property. And I hired an engineer, and I repaired the sinkholes, and I had the dirt tested from the bottom out the top, and we closed on the property. There was no questions asked. They told me I could park my equipment there. They sold it to me without any restrictions, and I think you saw that probably in the paper. Mr. Tom Taylor wrote that they did sell that to me without any restrictions or anything. I've heard that there's no commercial property out there next to where I'm at. I don't know, Pappy's Quilting and all those cabinet shops within a quarter mile. I don't know, they should be commercial if they're not. After I spent approximately $150,000 and got the property seeded back properly, and I parked left a couple pieces of equipment there where I'd graded the property, and it sat there for probably a month. And the guy from the county, Mr. Fields, called me one day and said that I couldn't park my equipment there. And I asked why. And he said,
I'm sorry, sir, your time's expired. We appreciate your feedback, though.
thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Come forward, sir, and identify yourself.
Hello, my name is Richard Copeland. My wife and I live at Baxter Estates, which is near the parcel. I have just a few points. I think my understanding is that prior Blount County land use plans did not include commercial development along Sevierville Road. So this is an established agreement and long-standing. The commercial zoning would increase traffic in an already dangerous road, narrow road, 2-lane with blind hills. And so that's a concern, probably a big concern. The rezoning to rural, from rural to commercial, would certainly, I think, negatively affect the property values. And I think also there's an issue with the environment and commercial. If there's no, it could be oil and gas and chemicals and things like that, much more than you would find in a rural home or farm setting. And nearby you have the Little River, which is protected by the state of Tennessee, and it runs into the Tennessee River. So that's a concern, environmental. How are you going to control that? And then the final point is that once a commercial property zoning is changed, then that sets a precedent, and they'll come and, other people will come in and request the same kind of favors, so they won't be discriminated against. So I'm against the changing of the from rural to commercial. Thank you.
If you'll come forward, sir, and introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Clay Swab. I am retired from a 30-year business career and teach full-time over at Maryville College. I've lived in the area since 1967. I purchased a 125-acre farm behind the water treatment plant in 1994. I do teach at Maryville College. I'll try to restrict this to a little shorter than my usual lectures and make it much more entertaining if possible. In 2008, this subject was brought up. It was overwhelmingly denied because of very, very strong reasons, some of which we will go into today. Those reasons were submitted to the City Planning Commission a couple of weeks ago, and they were so compelling that they voted unanimously to recommend against this rezoning. One of the primary reasons that this is a very bad idea is the location itself. It's on a blind curve with no shoulders whatsoever as it come up over the hill going towards 13 curves. A study conducted by the Tennessee Department of Safety on December 4th, 2008 states, our data show that of the highways in Blount County greater than 1 mile in length, SRO 35411 North had the second highest number of crashes per mile between 2003 and 2007, and that in that 4-year span, there were 645 crashes on this segment between 2003 and 2007. Attached charts to this study show 84 crashes immediately before and after this property, within less than 1 mile. There were 5 deaths and 198 injuries on this segment during that 4-year period alone. Since that time, it's only gotten worse. There are fatalities, et cetera, that are on there. The second compelling reason that I would like to bring up is the contrary purposing to your land usage plan here and the 1101 state plan for growth. The city planner told me directly and said that I could quote him here, that the only portion in their growth plan that's along 411 North that is to be commercial are the 4 lots that would be at the intersection between Pellissippi and Seville Road. There's nowhere else along there that they ever would consider anything other than agricultural or residential. Also, I think that I've given each of you a letter that should be in your box here that shows some pictures before and after where the reservoir was there, where it just leaked right into where our water treatment plant is and into the little river. It would not hold water.
Thank you, Mr. Swab. I
Okay.
appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
If you'll come forward, sir.
My name is Brown Wright. I live in Riverview Estates 2, which is just across the river from this property. I've lived there 28 years. Appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. This is a rural residential area, and there's no commercial within sight of this property that's up for rezoning. To put commercial zoning on it that would permit any kind of use of a commercial nature, a junkyard or worse, and it would change the nature of the neighborhood in the area. It would also set a dangerous precedent. Once you have a commercial property in the vicinity, it's very difficult to deny additional ones, and that in turn adds to the traffic and the congestion issue, as well as changing the nature of the neighborhood and the highway. So I respectfully ask you to deny this change and leave it as a rural residential area like it is. Thank you.
Saw a gentleman over here. If you'll come forward.
Thank you, and thank you all for this opportunity to address you on this really important issue.
Your name,
My name
sir?
is Robert Dodds, D-O-D-D-S.
Thank
My
you,
wife, Dean, and I live at 1416 Brookmead Avenue. And my comments here relate to the letter that I sent to each one of you last week, including a map, an annotated map from Google Earth of the area, showing how rural and residential this area is, the proximity of this property being uphill from the Maryville filtration plant and the Little River, and also upstream from the Alcoa intake system for their filtration plant as well. My concern as a civil engineer is the propensity of this particular geological feature at this site is a proven maker of sinkholes, and there's nothing to prevent sinkholes from forming again. And if we put liquids such as petroleum distillates, heavy metals, whatever that could come from parking of vehicles, installation of a service station, after the current property owner moves on and sells that land, many other kinds of commercial activities can be built on that without further governmental oversight. Roger Fields at the Planning Commission meeting took almost 3 minutes to read the list of all the different kinds of activities that would be permitted on that parcel if it was converted to a commercial zoning. All of those, many of those, including service stations, above ground repairs, storage tanks, fuels, and so on, if there was an accident there, it's going to run immediately right into the filtration plant and into the Little River there. And we would, as county residents, would have a substantial expense on our hands of cleaning up such an event as that. So I please urge you to not approve this zoning request. Thank you.
If you'll come forward, ma'am. Let's get the lady back in the. Yes.
My name's Rebecca Treadway, and I live in the Brookmead subdivision as well. I'm also representing a constituent who could not be here today. But speaking for my own voice, I thank you for meeting today, and I realize that you're here to serve the county and make the best decision possible. As a professor at Maryville College and living in the county for a number of years, I I understand your responsibility. I also, in living in the subdivision, would ask that you look out for the greater good and the public, and feel very strongly that the rezoning request should be denied. In reading this letter, this is in absentia for Ken Veal. It says, my wife, Jude, and I reside at 3516 Sevierville Road. We are away this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to have my thoughts read to you by another concerned citizen. We are absolutely opposed to the proposed rezoning. Rezoning opens opportunities for not just one piece of real estate under discussion, but for potentially repeat zonings of like properties in the future. We see this as a disruptive precedent that over time has the potential of damaging in economic and personal ways a growing demographic of the Blount County constituency. To rezone this property also opens opportunities for a variety of commercial establishments that would be a debilitating influence to existing property owners along Sevierville Road, both in the immediate and farther residential areas. These include such items as industrial sites such as construction, storage facilities, auto or other equipment repairs, salvage yards, retail establishments such as box stores, mini markets, gas stations, taverns, shops, and the likes. Nothing presently intended within the commercial allowances will benefit current residents. We have plenty of retail services within a few minutes' drive away. We do not want to have to view junkyards, cluttered construction storage, or mechanical repair sites, or intruding retail enterprises in our presently tranquil environs to allow such as is in mind catering to economic interests that are not for the common good. There is also widespread concern over increased traffic on the already overused Sevierville Road, especially at the limited view hilltop under question. We appeal to you in connection with their reason for being to serve the common good, to protect Blount County environs from influences that are real property devaluing instead of increasing value, and like detriments to the rights of all citizens and their peace, well-being, and happiness, and to do what is best for the total well-being of those that have placed you in positions for responsible service. It is our belief that should such introspection guide...
Thank you, Ms. Treadway, very much. Thank you. If you'll come forward, sir.
Thank you for this opportunity to address you today. My name is Jim Rose. I live in Riverview subdivision out there 29 years as of this year. My concern is as not only as a homeowner in the area, but also about the scenic beauty of that particular stretch of land that we're talking about. The river runs down through a valley. You top the hill, come down the hill, cross the river, and then go up the hill. And there's no commercial properties there whatsoever. It's a beautiful place. People love it. There's a lot of people that live out there, have moved there simply because of the location and the beauty of the area. The land that's under discussion today, is my understanding, 6.3 acres, which is equivalent to approximately 6 football fields. Now, that means that if these 6 acres are reclassified as commercial, then they can be many, many, many different types of businesses go in there. You know, at a quarter of an acre, 6 acres is 24 different businesses, and I imagine they'd be more than that, possibly. You know, we don't know what's going to happen to this land if it's reclassified, what's going to be done with it, sold to somebody, you know, somebody else use it. It can be there are all different types of businesses in there, from small mom and pop stores to junkyards, from a Walmart possibly, to meat processing plants, all of which would destroy the rural setting of this particular area. And that's why many people built their homes out there. I have an investment of quite a bit of money in my home. And I understand what Chester's saying. He's a good guy, I like him. But we all have investments out there and in our property and houses. And this could destroy everything that we moved out there for, and destroy that scenic view of all the people who drive through there every day. There's thousands of people who cross that bridge and would go by that property. I respectfully say that, you know, the county commission is right when in the original decision to classify this as residential, to deny the request to reclassify it several years ago, and we would ask that you continue to classify this as residential. Thank you.
Anyone else? Sir, if you'll come forward.
Good evening, all. The name here is Don Gilbert, and my wife Deborah and I bought back there in that area in the year 2000. I can only go, I'm not but a high school educated man, but I can just use observations, and that whole area, if you observe it, is not meant for this spot rezoning, and I can't define exactly what spot rezoning is. But in my concern, this area was not meant to be used for what we're trying to do with it, as far as commercial. And it needs to be stay the way it is. We've lived there since 2000 in Baxter View Estates and now in Brookmead. And one observation that the wife and I, for lack of a better word, joke about it, because it's not a joke. There's ambulances that we hear going up and down that highway at least twice a week, because it's a dangerous, dangerous highway and doesn't need any more commercial traffic coming to that area. We bought in that area because it's beautiful, and if any one of you had that area, you would agree it's beautiful, and it's exactly what it should stay, the beautiful area that it is. The water treatment plant is another issue, and all I can say is that, no, it shouldn't have something like that built up above it that can drain down into the water treatment plant. That's just common sense, and it just should not happen. But once again, I appreciate your time and wish that you would vote to reject it and keep it the way it is and the way it was meant to be in the first place. And thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no hands, this public hearing is closed. Members will stay at their seat. This time, we'll have a roll call for the second public hearing. So at this time, if the members will register your presence by voting yes. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have 14 present, 7 absent.
14 present, 7 absent. We have a quorum. This commission did publish on May 23, 2016 in the newspaper of general circulation of Blount County, Tennessee, a notice of public hearing to be held on this date at this location this hour. This public hearing is now convened and open to hear oral testimony and comment on the resolution to amend the zoning map of Blount County, Tennessee. The proposed resolution is 1606-003, which would amend the zoning map of Blount County, Tennessee from S, suburbanizing, to C, commercial, for part of the property located at 3614 East Lamar Alexander Parkway. The property is identified on tax map 059, parcel 151.00. Does anyone wish to address the commission on this resolution to amend the zoning map? If you'll come forward, ma'am, please. If you'll give your name, please. Thank you.
My name is Jody Glandon, and my property adjoins the property that is, I'm sorry, I'm nervous, that is for rezoning. And When I come down, I've been out there 25 years on Tuckaleechee Pike, and when I come down that road every day from work, I look at Three Sisters Mountains when I come, and it's a beautiful thing to see when you come down there, and that's one of the reasons I left my home in Tellico Plains, Tennessee, to come to Maryville, that and work. And I work at Denso Manufacturing. We are having problems now finding people to work. I don't think we need to rezone anything else for commercial. I don't want the noise around my home. I don't want the traffic. I've seen many people die on that road. I mean, I live literally connecting to what is going to be rezoned. And I just don't want to see it change. I mean, I think we have enough gas stations. We moved to the county for a reason, and I think we need to leave the beauty as it is. People come to this area to see the mountains and the beauty, and once they go outside the city limits, that's all they see. And if we rezone it for commercial, then I think we're ruining the beauty of this county, and we don't need any more commercial. We can't even get people to come to work now. We're begging for people to come to work at Denso now. So I don't think we need to rezone anything for commercial. I don't think we need any more gas stations, junkyards. I think we need to leave it the way it is. And I personally don't want to see a gas station in my backyard or a McDonald's or whatever is coming to that area for why we're in here to rezone it now. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else? This public hearing is closed. I'm sorry. Okay, if you'll come forward. I saw no hands go up, so. Madam Clerk, if you'll go ahead and strike the closing time, we'll allow this person to speak.
Hi, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
My name is Ethel Hurst. My property connects to this property, and we do not want it zoned to commercial. I think we're getting too many businesses out our way. We've lived there 59 years, and I don't want to see it commercialized. Thank you.
Anyone else? If you'll come forward, sir.
This is kind of new. I live in Brookfield Lane, and in the vicinity it was proposed zoning change.
Which zoning change?
Wait a minute.
The one from suburbanizing to commercial on 3614 East Lamar Alexander Parkway?
Lamar Alexander Parkway, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Please start the clock back.
And this property, if we make appreciable, I feel if we make appreciable changes in the elevation, we're going to affect the floodplain. The area in this floods quite a bit. I get floods into my backyard, and my neighbors also are flooded out regular. And a large portion of the property to be rezoned floods. And we're very worried about the floods and the environmental impact of, if we change the elevation, it's just going to push the floodwaters more on our property. That's what I'm really worried about. And I don't know how to get, who assures that we won't have worse flooding problems when this property is developed? And who's responsible? I have no idea. And I'm very worried about it. That's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no hands, I see no hands. This public hearing is closed. 30 seconds, we'll begin the last public hearing. At this time, would the members please register your presence by voting yes?
Mr. Chairman, we have 16 present, 5 absent.
16 present, 5 absent. We have a quorum. This commission did publish on May 23, 2016, in the newspaper of general circulation for Blount County, Tennessee, a notice of a public hearing to be held on this date at this location, this hour. This public hearing is now convened and open to hear all oral testimony and comment on the resolution to amend the zoning resolution of Blount County, Tennessee, sections 9.1B, 9.2B, to add privately funded nonprofit community libraries to the uses permitted as special exceptions. The proposed resolution is 16-06004. Does anyone wish to speak on this item? This public hearing is closed.